Okay, well, what I decided to do with this video is I am going to take the same underpainting colors that I used recently for an abstract floral diptych. And I'm going to do, or attempt to do, that's all I can say with anything I do is I'm going to try something. I am going to do a couple of non-objective abstracts with the same underpainting and the same pastels. That's my plan. So I'm going to put down a little yellow green, and I had yellow green here, but I took it back to my painting space. So I don't have that same color of yellow green. So I've got to make this, and it's not quite the same as my green gold that I had. But I will do my best. So I'm going to put a little bit of that here. I'll put it in different places. Maybe here. I'll put it down here. Put a little bit more. And that's kind of nice. I kind of like that. So then I'm going to take another plate, and I'll save that off to the side. And I'm going to put a little of this pyrrole orange, which I thought was going to be like orange, like cadmium, but it's not. It's really kind of a cool color that I like. So I think over here, I'll put it here. Maybe I'll let it drip a little bit. And so what I'm going for is non-objective. And let's see, over here, maybe I'll go a little bit more on the bottom. And some here, I'll leave some open space. And I think I'll put a little water in there to kind of dilute some of these things. I don't particularly like how that ran together, but you never know. It might be fine in an abstract. So that's my first step, is to do some kind of an underpainting here. Maybe you can use a little bit more of the green. So let me see. Maybe I'll put just a little bit more of that green there, which kind of makes a little bit of a olive in a way. And let's see, where can I put it? Over here. Maybe I'll put a little here and just a little bit more there. And maybe that's it. That might be just enough of an underpainting. Nothing real dark. Leaving some blank spaces, letting the colors kind of run together. And I'm going to dry this with my hair dryer, and then I will put some mark making in. Okay, so I have done some mark making, or no, I haven't done any mark making. I dried it, and so my next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some mark making. It's going to be random. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'll start here, and just I'm making red first because the floral pastel had red in it. So that's my plan, is I've got some kind of organic jagged. Okay, that's good. Now I'm gonna put in some charcoal. And I might use the side, I'm gonna use the tip. Kind of the same kind of marks here, which a lot of these marks are very similar to what I do when I paint with acrylics. I make these kind of marks, and I make them with the same kind of thing. Now I'm going to put in some, maybe some sides. Side. You know, they never quite know how this is going to end up until I put clear gesso on something. I just make a bunch of marks, and I like some people might wonder, why don't you just do flowers? Those are so much easier to understand for people. They know what those are. Why do you do this kind of thing? I think I talked about that in my other video. Because I want to, for one thing, and because I think there's just as much value in doing something like this as there is in doing something realistic. And because it's an internal process. I'm reacting to things. This helps me when I also do something that is a more semi-realistic, like a flower. This process helps me to do that. A lot of the marks that I make on something like this are very similar to the marks I make when I draw a flower. So it's two sides of the same coin, so to speak. And both of them are valid. So, and this is experimental. That's the thing, it's not planned, except for the colors, the color of the charcoal and the red lines. Otherwise, the rest of it is like experimental, and it is kind of, let's see what will happen. Let's see, it's a surprise factor. It's the not knowing. It's the not having control over everything. And that's what I like about it, is because that is what helps you loosen up and be more expressive, is stop having so much control over everything. People say, oh, I want to loosen up. I want to be looser. Well, how do you do that? This is the only way that you can really do that, is to allow yourself to work experimentally, where you're not in control of everything. Okay, so now I am going to put down some clear gesso, and then I'll see what I have after that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put down some clear gesso. And my brush here, I'm going to need to visit, and I'm going to put it right over all the marks that I made. I like that. Some people like, oh, it smears. Well, I like the smearing. And the reason is I'm going to put pastel on top of it and you won't even see the smears. See the side of the kind of shading I did there, that's where a little bit darker pastel is going to go. That's why I did that. And I just like doing this process because I like seeing what I'm going to come up with and not have everything so planned out. And actually, if you see me do my florals, pastels, I do that the same way. I do a random underpainting that I do with abstracts. The only difference in the florals than this is that I have drawn some flowers and I am using my flower drawings instead of random mark making. That is the only difference between them. And this brush is like old. I need to go get a new one. So now I'm going to try that with my hair dryer, and then I'll be back. Well, like I said, I am going to use the same colors that I had pulled out yesterday for my abstract, and I'm really going to try to not use any other colors but those. And I'm going to start with some darks, I think, right now. And the ones I have pulled out, I have some browns and some olives. So I think I'm going to put some of those down. So I'm going to do some kind of light mark making different places. Might even add some other kinds of lines. It's not going to be real dark, but just one of the darkest areas maybe. So that's kind of an olive, and I've got this brown, kind of a umber is what I would call it. And I might even, well, I don't think I'll put any other colors in until I get some other things in. There's some more brown. I used that in my floral for some of the dark areas, as well as some kind of dark bluish gray, which I have kind of right here. I could put in a little bit of that. Like I said, I'm just kind of playing around, and I'm going to try and do some of the same kind of mark making that I did on my floral, but I'm just going to do it on this abstract instead. So I won't talk through all of this. My always intention is to do a combination of the sides of a pastel and also the tip, because I want different kinds of marks. So that's another thing that I really kind of focus on. Put some lighter colors in here now. And I like those red lines, so I want to keep those, and I might even have to enhance those a little bit. All right. Really light pressure is what I use. You know, I would say not as light as a feather touch, but pretty light. Although sometimes if I want some really kind of thick layer, I'll press down a tad harder. Okay, I think I'm going to put in some reds next. And I might even, you know, put in some more lines. I like this red that I used because it's kind of a nice dark, but I did find a sennelier that is also a really nice. And you know, for some reason, I've got this thing for red lines lately. Now, why? I don't know. I guess I always did. I did something many, many years ago that I always liked. And it was a diptych, and it had red lines in it. So it's kind of funny how those things just kind of keep coming back. All right, some more orange, I think. A little bit brighter. I'm just putting colors down. You know, I'll have to go back eventually, kind of take a look and see what things look like. And let's see. Oh, here's a one I didn't use. This is kind of a neutral, actually. Kind of a neutral orange. So, you know, even though there's orange there, and it's the same color paint, doesn't mean I'm going to use the same kind of orange. I'm going to switch it up. I even put some orange through that green, and maybe some green through the orange. And I'm going to do some more greens, I think. That was a color I used quite a bit in the floral. That really light Oh, I don't know what kind of a green this is. Maybe it's kind of a, almost a phthalo in a way. But I like it. Because even though I have green, I want to have a mix of greens. I want to have blue green, yellow green, some kind of a neutral green, which is what this is that I'm putting in. And then I want to kind of focus on those light areas there too. Now I think I'll look for some blue green. Here's this, there's a nice one. Very light. Where else can I put that? Well, I put that there. Maybe I'll put it down here for this one. Nice color. I might put that somewhere else over here. Maybe in here. Okay. And maybe, like I said, I really like those I just kind of play around, and you know, the value of the underpainting is what is actually the color I start to look for, is the value. Light, medium, dark. And I like to leave some of that mark making show. I don't want to cover all that up. I want to leave some of it. I'm thinking I want to do different things with that green. It's like there's an awful lot of that kind of a green. So I'm gonna, okay, the lighter, maybe lighter value up here. Kind of a mint green, and I want to move that color around also. Okay, do have this really bold yellow green that maybe I'll put that right in here. Right. And maybe I'll put a line of it over here. What about that? If I was painting in acrylics, that might be something I might go for, is that kind of a line on top of. That's something I like to do. So, all right, let's see what other colors can I put in here. Some other kind of reds that I have. These may not take as long as my I will touch this over here. Well, like I said, I don't want to totally get rid of some of those red, almost kind of like lipstick red lines. I like those. And I'm going to put some white in here too. See, I'm not thinking subject at all. I'm thinking just variety of colors, variety of values, variety of mark making, and kind of changing colors up within the area that it is. Here's some other green that I might think about right here. All right, yeah, like that. Maybe I'll bring that in here too. I think now I need a little bit more of this green. Maybe I need some lines. And maybe I can put a little bit of it, or maybe like a line right here, or a little bit right here, or even right there. Kind of balance it out, and maybe on the other side I need to do the same thing, kind of put a little bit of it maybe up here. All right, I'm going to think about that background now on these and think, what color can I make that background? Now here is a nice, it's a very creamy yellow, which I think I'll just put some different places. Not all over, I'm not going to color it in, but I'm just going to put touches of it here and there. Even go over some of that. All right, and then I think I might get a gray. I am thinking that some kind of a gray would be a nice color change right here. Yes, there. And if I put it down light enough, I can always go over it with something else. All right, I think I'm going to need some probably white and maybe even a light blue, because orange, it seems that a light blue, I've got a really nice blue right here. I'll just put a little touch, and because I did have blue in my florals, so little touches of blue here and there might be nice. Maybe right there, and maybe even in here. Little bits of blue. And then I think I'm going to really go neutral on that background. Let's see, here's a nice, oh, it's kind of dark. So I don't want that because it's a little too dark. Let's see, what else do I have? I have to test these things out on my paper towel. All right. Pretty white, but it has a tinge of color to it, almost a green, which is interesting. You know, it looked white when I picked it up, but it's not. It's got a little touch of green. So I'm going to put it over here. And now, are these masterpieces? No. But are they fun? Yes. All right. Now that is more of a white, a little bit different variation. And maybe I'll put a white line somewhere. So anyway, I think I probably have done enough on these right now for this video to just kind of show you, you know, this is something I've been thinking about actually quite a bit, is I think I'm going to use some of my floral pastels to actually start some non-objectives. I like this area right in here where this dark is. I like that. And I like this right down in here. I like that. Yeah, I like that. So this is going to be one of those where I'm going to take a couple of pictures and look at this and see, well now, what can I do to kind of finish this up and bring this to a conclusion. I'm going to add some little orange spots right in there. And I think I might add a couple maybe right here. All right. And we'll see how I can finish these up, and I'm going to take pictures of them and then take a look at them and bring them to a conclusion.